Hi everyone. I want to show you how we can handle cleaning up data, deduplication, that kind of sort of thing with your NetSuite data. And in this example, I'll walk through how to deduplicate leads using large language models with your NetSuite data. All right. So here, I'm going to kind of walk through this example here. So the purpose of this is we're going to take the leads that are in NetSuite and we're going to go look for any kind of semantic similarities so we can find out what's actually the data that we want as the main record that we can merge the duplicates into. And this can be done with pretty much any different type of data. It could be transactional data, other entities. In this example, we're going to handle leads. And NetSuite has native deduplication, but it's very simple. So you're going to specify, hey, name, email, phone. If any of those or all of those are matching, then NetSuite's going to mark that as a duplicate and say, hey, we want to merge these records into one, which is fine, but it's not going to capture the semantic similarity. So here I kind of have an example of the leads in NetSuite. Here is some dummy data, and I have some things like John Doe, Jonathan Doe, and Johnny Q Doe, all maybe different customers or leads or whatever. And you just don't know, like, well, which was the one that I care about. So in this process, what we're going to do is we're going to call NetSuite to get the data that we need. So we might do some searches and whatnot to find out all the relevant information and maybe some other metadata, about that of, hey, how many related records do they have, or what are the metrics that we care about? Because ultimately, NetSuite itself or large language models, they can read the entire internet, but they don't really know what's particular to your business data. That's something that only you know. So they can kind of get you, 90% of the way there. So here we'll call NetSuite. We'll get the data that we need to process here, like the leads. We'll format that appropriately for our language model here, get back the results, and we can create a new custom record with that information. Because we want to at least know what to do with that or get that data in Excel before we start actually changing any of these lead records in NetSuite. So really, we can kind of come up with a game plan and get the information of what we want to do, and we can have a script kind of automate making all those changes. Right, and at least that kind of gives us a good sense of what we're about to do before we kind of commit to making any changes to your actual NetSuite data here. So what we'll look at next is just the toy example here. So we have some lead data in NetSuite. So this will be like the search that we'll pull off, where we have all these names, some basic information on the lead record, and maybe some join field data of like how many records are related to them, or something like that. It could be anything that's meaningful for you trying to deduplicate this information. And that would get sent to a language model. So you can use NetSuite's language models. They are very limited. In this example, what we're doing is that we're sending it to our own private local server where we can have a much bigger context window to bring in a lot of that data and process it at once here. And we'll get something that looks like this out of it. And so what we're looking at here is we have some extra columns here. So these columns right here. And what we're doing here is saying that for each of these kind of sets of similar things, we're identifying are they a duplicate record, and what should be the main record here that we need to merge them into. So this kind of gives us our mapping of how to deduplicate it. You may have certain instances where the data is pretty messy, where there's multiple Jonathan Does and they have different phone numbers and emails and maybe even have other records related to them. So we can kind of assume which is the correct record that we want to merge it into, like this record 9821 here, which is Jonathan Doe. But we can flag it as a double check. So that may require someone at your company to take a another look at this specific piece because it's not so simple, even with the semantic similarity search, to determine if it is something that you want to duplicate. So this is kind of like the basic idea. And we can get that data, put it back in NetSuite as a custom record because we want to avoid any irreversible data loss by making any changes. So if we have it in NetSuite itself, we can process it to make a decision without making any direct modifications right away. And finally, there's other methods that we could employ this as well. You can capture emails, so you can email leads directly. We can then do that check and then send that back into NetSuite here cleaned up. You can also use this opportunity of using language models to bring in other parts of your business's data and tag or associate that with certain records. So that could be associated with different projects or cost centers for transactions, all sorts of things. So the sky's the limit, and the point of kind of using this stuff is you want to keep your data private. It's your business data is very important, and you want to be able to use the latest, greatest tools that are out there, which may not exist directly in NetSuite. So we kind of create that secure connection, get only the data that we need to determine what's a duplicate or what we want to do with it here, and then feed that back in NetSuite, have that approved by a human, and then have your NetSuite data updated appropriately. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of show that overview. If you're needing more help, feel free to reach out to us at swifterp.com, SWYFTERP.com. All right, thanks everyone.